So our next speaker, I shall just share my screen. Our next speaker is from the industry side. She is Sujatha Subramanian, and she's lead data scientist and AI solutions architect at Avanade in the Netherlands. She has more than 15 years experience in product development and consulting, and her focus area is in solving customer challenges using data and AI. In her talk today, Sujatha will talk about her work with the NGO UNICEF and how she and her team helped with their aim of doubling donations by 2022. I'd just like to remind everyone to go to the right-hand side of their screen to stage and then Slido, and then there you can ask all your questions in the Q&A. But for now, please welcome Sujatha Subramanian onto the stage.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, we hear you and see you.
All right, fantastic. Okay, so just let me share my screen, put up my PowerPoint, and then we get started.
Excellent.
All right, so you can hear me fine, right? It's all good.
Yes.
And see the screen as well. All right, so really happy to be here today virtually, but nevertheless excited to be part of the Women in Data Science conference and to continue from the previous talk as well. So this as how it's good that there's a good introduction already about what I'm going to be talking about. It's about the project that we did for UNICEF here in the Netherlands, and also about how this is one of the most important topics that we are looking at, which is around tech for social good, and how we are taking the journey from what started with UNICEF, not only in keeping it in the Netherlands, but also taking it globally, as well as to other NGOs as well. How we can enable them in this journey. So as you see here, the core topic that I'm covering is our experience in implementing the marketing innovation using AI in our recent project. So this is something that I am excited to share here because it's helping NGOs, helping nonprofits, especially in these circumstances what we are in right now, where things have significantly changed. For example, how the current marketing campaigns, the way it used to be run in the past with door-to-door marketing, and where there were a lot of face-to-face interactions between donors and the volunteers and the NGOs, things have significantly changed, and how the digital transformation and keeping AI and technology to help in this transformation is something that's of paramount importance, and we have seen it already in this year. I will not spend too much of time because the introduction is already done pretty well. So as you all know, I come from industry where I'm also in consulting these days, where work with different kinds of customers, and how AI and technology and data landscape fits in their day-to-day life is something that I am deeply passionate about, and delivering value through data and AI is an important goal for me personally. And I love to be part of meetups and conferences. Helps in connecting with people from other industries, from academia, and also learning a lot from others. So happy to be here today as well. A quick introduction about digital landscape in the context of NGOs. So it's something that is when we look at NGOs in the current landscape, things have changed significantly, as I just mentioned also. So the interaction with donors and volunteers, how it's happening has also changed significantly. And when we look at donors, like any of us, we are also attached to different organizations. We feel strongly about how several local and global issues are there today, and we are deeply connected to some of those issues. So it's important for NGOs to also understand what issues are important for donors, and accordingly approach or have the marketing campaigns based on that as well, right? So that's an important shift that has happened. So the same kind of information is not available to all. Each of us, we have a different set of information based on which our interests and our responsibilities towards certain causes are quite different, and that's something which is actually changing for NGOs themselves. And the reason, because of all of these things, they are constantly having to reinvent the way that the engagement with the donors and the volunteers are happening in this digital era. So what we did for our project is we had to build out a complete digital ecosystem, help the NGO in their digital transformation journey. So it starts with data as always, right? So you need to bring in data from different sources, and how the customer engagement platform is built, how the finance transactional systems are built around that. But most importantly, I will be talking about how we used AI and how we used the marketing ecosystem that they have built in making sure that we can power the campaigns, power the marketing initiatives based on data-driven decisions. So what kind of campaigns are run is first of all also something that needed to be changed based on the effectiveness of each and every campaign based on the data that you get and the insights that you get from the data. So we started off with unifying the customer profile. So the entire journey starts off with getting all of the data, unifying all of the different kinds of data, building a single 360-degree customer profile, and then using that information to build out critical measures, some insights, or AI-driven segmentations, which are then used to automate the marketing campaigns themselves. So exactly. So how did we use AI in this whole journey? So we started off with the customer stitching part. So that's exactly the customer data comes from different forms. It comes from the different touch points that the nonprofits have with their donors. It comes with demographics data about, as well as about the different transactional data that you have in the systems. And using that and creating the customer 360-degree view using customer stitching is one of the first steps that we did. Followed by that, we used rule-based segmentations, things about standard segments that can be created, and using different clustering techniques to find out, okay, which is the different groups of customer donors that we have, and mapping the marketing campaigns to different clusters differently. So which campaign is most effective for each of the cohorts or the segments that we extracted from the data. And then also using different channel selections. So which channel is better suited? A phone call based campaign versus an email based campaign versus a campaign in social media. So things are quite different once you start looking at it from a data perspective. And at the end, it's all about understanding how many steps it takes to get to your donor. How many, and the goal is to get it with as minimal steps. So your marketing effectiveness can also be measured. At the same time, the ultimate goal is to understand what is the important program that the donor is passionate about, and making sure that we are connected in that. So we used for customer stitching, which is one of the key first steps when we build out our platform. We used a SaaS offering from Microsoft. It's called Customer Insights. So what we do in Customer Insights is bring in all of the data coming in from internal data sources, external data that we have collected, and bring all of that data into this platform, and do things like deduplication of data and making sure that the data which will have different identities from different systems, how they can be mapped and merged into single unified golden sources of data. And once that data is available, then it becomes much easier for us to integrate that with either the other marketing streams, as well as with other applications that are available there. So I will go a bit into details of how we used AI and ML in that space. But before that, the idea is, once you have segments created in Customer Insights, then the next set of actions are automated. For example, the email campaigns that run based on that are all powered by tools like Power Apps and bunch of other tools. But the idea is how we can automate this end to end. So starting from data coming into the system, how different segments can get created. Different segments means segments related to which are based on rules, segments which are based on AI models, and the output of that segments triggers actions like sending emails or personalizing some of the email content. The content of the email changes based on which segment of a group, which segments the donors belong to. So all of that makes it really an end-to-end data-driven marketing campaign for marketeers. And at the end of the campaigns, you're also able to run analytics on it to say that what was the effectiveness for each of the marketing campaigns that was run. So again, we start off in the exact same way, exploring the data. So getting the descriptive statistics of the data that we collected from different systems, using clustering as well as explorative techniques like RFM modeling, just to understand the data landscape before we build any kind of AI models on top of that. So for RFM segmentation, this is a standard technique that's used for marketing automation, mostly around understanding things like who has donated recently, or how frequent are certain donors, or which donors are our high value donors. So understanding and having deep information about the data itself helps in creating certain key segments. So what do we want to do with RFM model was, we wanted to find out, have a way to find out what is the churn propensity for different customers. And if we have that either by AI models or by some other rule-based models, it makes it easier for a marketeer or somebody working in the NGO to understand that there is a reason for the churn propensity being high, and they can start to do some investigation or take the next best action, which is also something that can be built into their system. So that's without having to go through large amounts of data by themselves and trying to do an analysis. This is part of their end-to-end system that's already available. So the whole idea is we wanted to build out a system where if there is an indication for somebody to churn, and if they also happen to be a low value or a high value donor, then accordingly the right actions, the best actions can be taken. Again, additional things around different kinds of clustering that we built based on simple techniques like recency-based clustering, frequency and monetary value-based clustering. Then a whole lot of segmentations were built based on factors like time-based factors or campaign-based segments or channel or behavioral-based segments. So this, which is something also quite easy for somebody who is working in the NGO to build on their own, because these are simple rules, and it's quite easy for them once the data is available for them to build out these segments. But what additionally helps is building AI-based models for predicting. So rule-based segments are still looking at the past data and then understanding the behavioral pattern of data and building certain segments on that. But we also built out simple models for predicting churn for different subgroups or different segments that we created, and then what is the propensity for churn in each of these cases, and also leveraging and extending the RFM methods for different cohorts. We also looked at creating role-based like probabilistic models for building out a lifetime for predicting the customer lifetime value.
So yeah, just to let you know that you have 2 minutes left.
Okay, all right. Thanks. So the way we build out these models and deployed these models just so that it's very simple to consume these models. So when all of the models are deployed in a containerized fashion in a machine learning service, which can be consumed from any application. So in this particular case, because all of our data was in customer insights, we integrate that through customer insights. So any new customer coming in, there is the models are run in the background, and only the scores are available in the tool. Thereby, further segmentations can be built. For example, using the CLTV model, we are able to identify our high-value customers, high-risk customers, and building segmentations like the cross-segmentation for high-risk and high-value customers. So here we are bringing in simple rules on top of the AI-based predictive models, and integrating that segments directly into the marketing systems, so the marketing campaigns can be completely driven by the AI-based models. So just to wrap up quickly, so the way we are looking at changing the landscape for NGOs is bring data to the center of all their decisions, using AI-powered automations, and overall using the entire customer profile to make key decisions is the goal that we wanted to achieve as part of this project. And the overall goal by making all of these things is to not only reduce the current spend and the operating costs for NGOs, but also to understand and connect with the donors better so they can achieve their goal of increasing their end-to-end donations. So that brings to the end of my talk. Thank you very much, everyone, for your time today and patient hearing to this.
Yeah, thank you very much for your talk. It was very interesting indeed. Maybe just a quick question, since there is no more time left. Maybe we can just quickly. I'm curious about social media data and whether you use them to get to know better your donors, or whether you use them in some other form.
So not a whole lot yet on it, but mostly to reach to the donors. So we would like to help the NGOs present their campaigns effectively the right form, just so that it has better reach and more people are able to see what the NGOs are trying to do. That is the first critical thing, is to take the information to the right people as opposed to not much focus on taking their social media sentiments into how further analysis can be done, because that again is a larger topic, right? So but the idea is how to take the information directly to them as quickly as possible. That's definitely the goal. Yeah.
Thank you very much. I will leave it to Jan now.
Yes, thank you so much, Sujatha. That was an excellent talk as well.